So Joey's sitting down in a chair, and they're like, we're going to have all these girls dancing around him. I'm like, yeah, right, this is going to be fun. This is going to sound good. Justin, you're like walking through, and there's going to be all these girls dancing around you. I'm like, oh my God, why don't we do every video like this? Lance, you're going to be dancing in a club, girls around you. JC, you're going to be in a club. And I'm like, all right. Chris, you're the DJ.
Please welcome Chris Kirkpatrick. Right, oh, come on. Here you go, is a mic. Turn it. There you go, you are all set.
Perfect, how's it going?
How's it going? Oh, it's so good to have you here. Give it up again, come on. It's Chris Kirkpatrick for crying out loud.
How you guys doing?
Doing great. Got a couple questions here, then we're going to turn it over to the audience. Before we get started, you're originally from around this area?
Yep, Clarion.
Clarion. What was your childhood like in this area?
A lot of trailer parks. We grew up in, moved around a lot. So I was born in Clarion, kind of grew up in Old City. And then high school years, I moved over to Ohio. And now I had to move back to Nashville because Pittsburgh's too cold. And I had to do Pittsburgh Light. That's what I call Nashville, Pittsburgh Light.
Nice. For the music scene?
For the less snow. Not as bad of snow we get there, but I needed the seasons. Yeah, but for the music mostly.
Nice. So at what point did you realize you had a really great voice, and how did that bring you into NSYNC?
I still don't think I have a really great voice.
Oh, come on.
I don't know how all that stuff happened. It was just, you know, I was always singing. When I was in Old City, actually, I was in junior high, and I got the lead in Oliver Twist at the high school musical, and thought I was famous for getting the high school musical. And then I moved to Ohio and became a number, and they're like, yeah, whatever, nobody cares about you. And I was like, yeah, but I'm big in Old City. They're like, so. But yeah, I mean, I always sang. I always liked singing. I always liked music, was always writing, was always harmonizing. I started many a cappella bands, and you know, through those a cappella bands, one after another, guys would quit and new guys would come in, and basically the guys that are in NSYNC were the culmination of those a cappella bands.
Nice. So say, this is kind of an odd question, but the soundtrack of your life, what would it be, and is there a theme song that kind of is your thing?
Yeah, Shiny Teeth.
Oh, really?
No. I don't know. That's tough because, you know, especially with my influences, growing up in the 80s was a lot of rock. I was really into punk rock and pop. So those were my three big genres that I loved. And then who knows if you would have told me in elementary school or junior high that I was going to end up in like a New Kids on the Block type band, I would have punched you in the face. But here I am. I do like the New Kids, though. I'm just saying I didn't listen to them. Well, not that much. I'm kidding.
So what kind of music are you listening to now?
Oh, I listen.
Like your Spotify playlist. What's on there?
I listen to everything. I love, you know, modern, any pop music that's out there. I'm really into a lot of the girls right now, like Sia. A lot of people. She's got an offshoot band called LSD, which is not about the drug, believe it or not, but they got some great music. And I still, you know, listen to the classics. I'm still a big fan of The Clash, The Ramones. I was a huge Def Leppard fan growing up, so Def Leppard, or as my uncle calls them, The Lep.
Oh.
I learned that pretty quick. I was like, that's an 80s reference. If you call Def Leppard The Lep, you grew up in the 80s. But yeah, and in Old City.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I still say "ol" like that too, so the only thing I never lost was that accent, because nobody from Old City calls it Oil City. But that translates over when my wife's like, hey, can you go, what do you do with that water on the pot? And I'm like, boil it? She goes, no, you boil it. I'm like, I boil it.
Do you have a favorite musician that you've met along your career?
Oh, every one of them. I mean, I'm being a fan of pop music, like there's every genre from hip hop to country that I meet artists or I get to perform with or that I'm fans of. And I mean, I fan out over, I mean, I never got into country music, but living in Nashville, obviously I've started to learn a lot of country music, and I realized a lot of those artists are really great people. And so I started listening to it a little bit. My wife and kid listen to it all the time, so I'm like, okay, I'll listen to it. But, you know, I'm still that old head that I love all the new music. I love the bands. I love BTS. I love One Direction. You know, I love all the kids from One Direction, Niall, Harry, all their individual stuff. So it really is just pop music that I love. I couldn't put a finger on, you know, one thing, because to me music's about feeling. And, you know, I won't listen to Rancid driving to the Keys, you know, and I won't listen to Jimmy Buffett before I'm getting ready, you know, pumped up to play a basketball game or something like that, or work out. So it's all about, you know, timing and what type of day is it, what I'm feeling that day, that pretty much I'll throw anything on.
Nice. So I've got one more question. We're going to turn it over to you guys. If you have a question, if you're on this side of the room, please head over to where Kyle is. He will get your question. If you have a question on this side of the room, head over to that wall, and I'll get your question. And being that, you know, you can maybe ask a couple questions. We got some time here. So once again, question on that side over there, question on that side over here. So I got to ask you, how did the character of Chip Skylark come about, and is it as much fun for you to do as it is for us to watch?
Oh, it was so much fun. That was one of the things that, like, that was right as we were, you know, getting big, and I'm a big, I nerd out on some weird stuff. Like, bad sci-fi and cartoons are like my thing. And was watching tons of cartoons, and Cartoon Network was in its infancy, and Nickelodeon had all these hits with cartoons and stuff, and we were in LA meeting with some people, and they're like, yeah, we got the Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network people here. And I was like, let me talk to them. I love cartoons. And just basically started spitting out like my favorite cartoons and what I grew up with and what I like. And one of the Nickelodeon guys was like, whoa, would you like to do a cartoon? And I'm like, come on. That doesn't happen to real people, does it? Like, that's like gods do cartoons. But they're like, yeah, we have this new cartoon coming out, and it's called Fairly Odd Parents. And they gave me the description, and I was like, that's weird. You know, two godparents that grant this kid's wishes. I'm like, whatever. And they're like, but you're going to be like the pop guy that comes in. And I was like, you mean like Jet Screamer and the Jetsons? Yes. And he's like, exactly. I'm like, yes. So getting to do that, and it was kind of weird though, because, you know, I'm not a very good actor, but enough that I kind of understand. But when you do voiceovers, it's like they put you in a vocal booth like you're singing a song, and they're like, okay, go. I'm like, go what? They're like, read the script and act like it. So it was a little difficult, but then it took like a year and a half till they'd make the cartoons. So I did like 2 or 3 of them and thought, that was weird. That was something that just happened. And then suddenly the cartoon came out, and I'm like, oh my God, it actually got released. Like, I thought this was just some idea, and maybe I was getting punked or something. They were like, no, get him to go in and say this stuff, and we're going to do a cartoon. But it worked out great, and it's funny now, there's times I'll be doing something, especially younger kids, they don't even know I was in a band. Like, I'm getting ready to come out here, and you're playing Shiny Teeth, and I'm like, oh, Jesus. I was like, you know we had hits, right? But that's cool if you want to do Shiny Teeth.
But that's great. You got the Jet Screamer reference from the Jetsons.
Yeah, Jet Screamer. I mean, that's what I grew up. You know, Bugs Bunny, Flintstones, Speed Racer.
I want to pop this down. It's starting to feed back a little bit.
Just don't point your mic towards the monitors.
Yes, don't do that. We're just gonna. There we go.
Mic 101. You see a performer go.
Yep.
There's no monitors up here, but if there were, that would feedback.
Well, so you mind? We're going to get some questions here, and thank you for coming out and do this. Kyle, let's do 2 questions over here. We'll do 2 over here, and we'll bounce back and forth.
All right, our first question, your name and your question.
Hi, Chris. My name is Patrick.
You look very familiar.
Thank you.
Like I just met you 5 minutes ago.
My question is to you, what's your favorite NSYNC music video and song, and do you still keep in contact with them?
With the video? With the guys?
Yeah, with the guys.
I don't like those guys.
Favorite song and video.
I made my money and left. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, of course. I keep in contact with all of them. We're all still really good friends, or so I'd like to think. At least that's what they make me believe. But video, I liked shooting Pop because it was more of a party, and it wasn't like, okay, now do this, now do this. Except the only thing I didn't like about Pop was when they were telling everybody what we were doing, they were like, you know, because we see the treatment, but they weren't specific about things. They're like, oh, it's going to be this crazy party thing going on. Got BMX jumpers, all this crazy stuff. So in this vignette, we're going to have Joey, because Joey had hurt his leg at the time. So Joey's sitting down in a chair, and they're like, we're going to have all these girls dancing around him. I'm like, yeah, right, this is going to be fun. This is going to sound good. Justin, you're like walking through, and there's going to be all these girls dancing around you. I'm like, oh my God, why don't we do every video like this? Lance, you're going to be dancing in a club, girls around you. JC, you're going to be in a club. And I'm like, all right. Chris, you're the DJ. Well, I got to be the DJ. So I DJ'd the snot out of those turntables and had a blast. But that one was fun, for sure. My favorite song?
Yeah, NSYNC song.
My favorite NSYNC song, we had an a cappella song called I Thought She Knew. And it was written by Robin Wiley, who was our vocal coach. And she passed away. But it was one of the first songs we learned together a cappella. And we just would always perform that one everywhere. We ended up doing it for the record and performing it. And we got to do it on Saturday Night Live, and we're like, we're gonna do an a cappella. And they're like, what? You know this is live, right? We were like, we can handle it. And got to do it live, and that just means a lot because she was very dear to us and to the band. If it wasn't for her, there wouldn't be us. She was basically the sixth member, not Lou Pearlman.
All right, we have another question over here.
Hi. Not to bring up a sore subject, because I know it probably is. But
not to hurt your feelings, but I'm about to hurt your feelings.
Lou Pearlman. Now I know there were lawsuits, and you went to court. You and the group went to court because he allegedly stole a lot of money from you guys. What was that experience like? And also, because of what happened, because of all that money was stolen from you, are you, as a musician, are you more careful with who you come into contact with and who you trust?
I think when it comes to Lou, it's a strange balance because Lou is the one that I met first, and when I was putting the band together, he's the one that said, hey, if you put this band together, I'll put money behind it. So, I mean, I'm not living day to day now. You know, I'm okay. I'm not in my trailer park anymore. I actually have a house, which is great. Paid off, kind of. But, you know, financially, it's not a big deal. Personally, it was a big deal. But more important, what he did was he lied to a lot of people. And it was us, but it was also investors. And if you know the whole story about things, he had like a pyramid scheme. And what he would do was he would use us for these investors and be like, look, I put this band together. Chris put the band together, but I helped Chris put this band together, and you know they do everything, and I'll get you backstage to the shows. Give me your money. So using us to kind of finagle people is what really hurt. You know, that's when we were like, that's not cool. You know, I thought from day one, I thought this guy had airplanes, airships. Strangely enough, I never really saw one of them. But you believed him. I mean, he was a con man. And it sucked because we were so close to him. And then when you get conned, you feel, as I'm saying that at a con, you get conned. Different con, guys, isn't it? Is it? Is this why they call it a con? Wait a second. Bring your wallets. Now I've figured it out. No, but I think meeting people in our business, we know that it's the music business. And music comes first, but business is a big part of it. And you're always careful with who you meet. And, you know, I've had a million people, hey, I want to be friends. Can I have some money for this thing or that thing? And you're like, oh, then I guess we're not friends. But so I've always been careful about who I meet, and I've got good people in my corner that watch out for me and make sure that I'm not running into another Lou. But again, it was early, and I've never blamed him for the finances. Like money, if we would have just gotten robbed by him, you know, we wouldn't have been a big deal. You know, I'd have been like, hey, you know, for you to take this much money, that means we must have this much more money. So that part of it didn't really hurt as bad as the loyalty and the trust. Exactly, the trust you have in somebody, and somebody like that who was like, oh, call me Papa Lou. I'm like, that's weird, but okay. I have a lot of weird things in my life, come to think of it. But yeah, so nowadays it's just keep good people around you, and you know, let them prove themselves by their actions and not by their words.
Okay, excellent. Oh, by the way, there's water there for you if you get thirsty. And we're going to head over to this side of the room for 2 more questions, and we're going to bounce back over.
Hi, my name is Sean. I saw that you're from Ohio. Like, do you go back and forth to Ohio a lot?
Hold on a second. I'm from Pennsylvania.
Oh. It says that you're from Ohio.
Where does it say I'm from Ohio?
Dalton?
No, I went to high school in Dalton. I'm not.
Oh.
I went to high school in Dalton.
Oh.
My wife's from Ohio.
Okay.
Actually, she's from Michigan, which is even funnier. But she claims Ohio. Her whole family's Ohio. I went to high school in Ohio. I have dear friends. Not really. I don't think. Oh, I have maybe 1 or 2 relatives in Ohio. But I'm from here. I'm from Western PA. So when we get into that, it's a battle, because the Ohio-Pennsylvania battle is like real. Are there people from Ohio here? Okay, I won't tell you guys any Ohio jokes then. But anyway, just don't do that. My wife yells that all the time. OH, I go, I know. But yeah, so I went to school in Dalton, and like I said, actually, I'm on a Pop 2K tour right now. We were just here 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks? Yeah, I don't know. We were in Wisconsin last night. But yeah, 2 weeks ago we were here, but right before that we were in Ohio, and we played Cleveland, and I had a bunch of my high school friends come up, and it was like the whole balcony was my high school friends, and my high school was like probably as many people that are in this room right now. And they were all there. I was like, all right. So I do love Ohio. I just, you know, I love to, I don't want to say bad words, but give them a little flack for that. But I had a great time. You know, again, my little school, some of my best friends I still keep in touch with. We have chats that, you know, from all my high school friends, but I was born in Western PA, went to high school in Ohio. So I won't talk that much smack, but just...
All right, let's hit the next question.
Hi, I'm Andrew. So I have the 2001 Best Buy exclusive bobblehead set of you and the boys. You talked about being weird. What is the weirdest thing that your face or likeness or the band's likeness was used on, and you looked at it and were like, why?
Ooh. I think everything. Like I said, when I was here, when I was growing up, we were very, very poor. And, you know, I always thought that people that were on TV, and local people that were on TV were like the most famous people. I remember when our school, when you'd be waiting in the morning for the snow, if you had a snow day, and if your county came on, you're like, oh my God, my county was just on TV. That is the craziest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. But so I had a weird idea of what fame and it was until I was in it, and I was like, this is dumb. But we've had our faces in a lot of strange stuff. You know, it's always crazy to go out and see like people with T-shirts on, and you're like, oh, you know, especially if I'm just. Even if, like, we have new or reissued merch now, like at Target or something, if I go into Target, my son will be walking with me, he goes, hey, Dad, I'm like, yeah, that's me. He thinks it's normal, which kind of sucks, because I want him to grow up like me and go, those people aren't real. But he's like, he thinks everybody's on TV, like all his friends. Oh yeah, there's Uncle Joey on another cooking show and all this stuff. You know, it's like, it's not your uncle, first of all. Second of all, weird. But yeah, I think everything. The Pop Dolls were really cool. When the Pop Dolls came out, that was a cool little moment of, wow, we did it. And I think we're releasing a little, what are those things called? Little People or what? No, not the Funkos. It's like a, yeah, I know you know. Yeah, it's like the little Fisher Price things or something are coming out. That'll be a weird one. I mean, we had the puppets, which, by the way, I don't know if you know this, but the reason they are puppets is because our management said, if you guys make dolls, your career's over. So we're like, we'll make puppets. We'll show them. Whoops. Missed that one.
Let's head over to the other side of the room for 2 more questions, and then we'll bounce back over here.
Hi, Chris. I'm Darlena.
Hi,
My
Darlene.
question is, what was the difference between being on The Masked Singer, performing with a costume and not being able to tell who you were, versus performing live with the band?
Ooh, Masked Singer was rough. Well, first of all, we were on the tour, and I was in Texas, and that lady right behind you called me and said, hey, Lisa's not Big Brother again. No. No. She said, hey, you got The Masked Singer. And I said, cool. I didn't know I was trying to get The Masked Singer. She's like, yeah, well, you got it. So I found out on a Wednesday, went home on Thursday, and she's like, oh, no, you got to fly to L.A. tonight on Thursday night. Found out what song I was doing Friday, saw the costume, did the dress rehearsal Saturday, did the show on Sunday, was home on Monday. So I'm like, this is a singing show, right? And they're like, yeah. And they're like, yep, goodbye. I was like, ooh, that's harsh. But it was tough. I mean, I don't know why I just turned around. The thing's got a picture of me in that costume. Yeah, that's weird. It's like, I had this huge head, this long beak, these giant wings, and there was like plexiglass with like holes in it. And I'm like, do I get a head mic or something? I have to sing through this? And they're like, nah, just sing. Here's your mic. And they were really nice, though, really nice people. But it was really tough because the wings were strapped on so tight that it was like constricting my lungs a little bit. And as a singer, that's difficult. Like that really makes it hard. It's like running around, jumping for 2 hours straight and then singing. But and then the head, like they would walk me in, and it was like I would be guided by like 3 people, and I'm like, okay, watch the wings, and then my beak would hit something. Words I never thought would come out of my mouth. Walking in and I'm watching my wings, my beak. But then then this giant head on your shoulders, and it was tough. It was a lot of fun. Like I said, everybody there was amazing. It was a fun experience. I'm really glad I did it, but it was tough. It was tough to do.
Awesome. Next question over here.
Hi, I'm Leslie.
Hi, Leslie.
And
Do
I
you
think
have a
you
big
need,
brother? Was it a Big Brother question? Because when I said that, you were
I
like,
think you need to redeem yourself.
Why?
And get back on that show, because I was your biggest fan. And I was like, you need to win this show. You need to win. They treated you like crap. I thought you played an awesome game. I love Celebrity Big Brother now. I hated it before, but because of you. And when you left, I was like, what? No.
Have you ever been on? Have you ever been on Big Brother?
You need to redeem yourself and get back on.
Have you ever been on it?
I wish I could be.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
So that one of my questions was, well, being in that house, did you miss everybody? Was it hard for you to be away from your family? And because when you're watching it, you don't realize that these people are not able to talk to anybody.
Yeah, we had no idea.
So, yeah.
They told me the Bengals were in the playoffs or the Super Bowl or something. I was like, shut up. The
Wasn't the
Bengals?
Steelers.
That's how long it's been? Sorry, Ohio people again. Jeez, here I go again. You're like, God, what did I take away from this? He hates Ohio. No, I love Ohio. No, I'll tell you, I'm a diehard fan. I love the show. Last week, I was in New York for the premiere and got to judge a karaoke contest with a bunch of the old Big Brother people, and I was totally fangirling out like, oh my God, you're so-and-so. And they're like, yeah, Chris Kirkpatrick from NSYNC. I'm like, you know my name. But, being a big fan of the show, it was fun for the first day. And then I was in a hotel room for the week before that, meaning I didn't get to step foot in the hallway for a week. I don't know if it was for COVID. I think it might have been a COVID type thing.
Because they gave you a COVID test and you were, wasn't it? Because
No.
you were negative or something?
No.
Positive?
Oh, this is going to get deep. No, what happened was, so I was in the hotel room for a week, then you get in the house. I was in the house for a week, and every day you're tested for COVID, and one of the days I had a false positive. So they whisked me out of the house, put me in this room, like I didn't already feel like a lab rat. I'm in this room, but I did get a little video player. Like, that's how bad this is. Like, there's no TV, no radio, no contact, no phones. Me and one of the other people on the show were playing a game, and in the game there was this little pencil, and they're like, please bring the contraband to the diary room. I was like, what? I thought I had drugs in my pants or something. I didn't know what contraband. They're like, the pencil. I'm like, shut up. Like, it was tough. And I went into it, knowing I liked the show and knowing that celebrities are dumb and it would be easy to win and be a lot of fun. But I also went into it saying I wasn't going to stand up for people bullying people.
Right.
And there was some times where the only person I'd known beforehand, I knew of everybody pretty much, except for the housewives. I don't know any of them. But I knew of everybody else. But the only person I knew going into it was Chris Kattan, because we'd done some stuff with him before that. And he was having a real hard time in the house, and it was a struggle for him. And then when, some of the people in the house started making fun of him, I was like, you walk around that house and you're just like, all right, right foot, left foot, don't say anything stupid, right foot, left foot, put the lid down after you pee, stupid things you don't think about. But you analyze every little step you make because you don't want anybody to go, oh, Chris said this, let's get rid of him. But the minute that happened, I was like, you know what, you guys are assholes. Like, don't go there. And the minute I did that, it was like they put me on this targeted list, and I was like, well, I could have stayed. It would have been easy to stay, but I pulled the ripcord, and I'm like, I got to get out of this house. This is toxic. You can't be a nice person and win that game. Like, there's a lot of dirtiness and lying and backstabbing that I just couldn't do. So, it was fun while it lasted. I won a head of household. I played the games, had a good time, and then got out.
Well, I just want to say that you fell on your sword, and that was what made me fall in love with you on that game, because you showed your true character. And I just want to say I appreciated it as somebody who was bullied my whole entire life for being a tall girl. I was 5'9" in 4th grade, and I got Lurch, Too Tall Jones. Okay. I was picked on badly. And what you did for Chris was truly amazing, and I just want to thank you for that.
Yeah. Well, I think the coolest part, though, too, is a couple months ago, my kid just started kindergarten 2 days ago, so this was pre-K. I went to pick my kid up at school, and one of the teachers pulled me aside and said, hey, your son learned something. He goes, he protected a couple of the kids that were, kind of getting bullied and all that, and my kid's one of the cool kids, runs in the family, I guess, just so cool in that trailer park growing up. But he really, he stood up, and I was like, all right, well, that made it all worth it, as long as, especially because there was a lot between me and him on the show that was kind of thrown out there and kind of garbage. But again, it's celebrities. Like, you don't find many nice, no, I shouldn't say many nice, but many understanding people that are given that status and still are like, hey, you know what? I'm still going to be cool. Not, hey, thank you. It's me. You're welcome. You know, it's like, I don't understand that. So it was cool.
Let's head over to this side of the room for 2 questions right here.
Hi, I'm Missy. I just want to know, do you have any advice for people who are starting out on a music career?
Well, it's a lot different now in the music business than it was when I started out. I mean, you know, one of our first records we ever recorded, we recorded on reel-to-reel, which is basically a giant tape, right? Not digital, on reel-to-reel, where they're like, oh, do that again, you know. Now everything's digital, and now there's so many platforms, you know, to get music out there, and you see, you know, the biggest stars, Justin Bieber, whoever, are social media kids, or, you know, kids that are popular, and American Idol, The Voice, all these things weren't around when we started. Not that I would have gone, I don't think if I had auditioned for my band I would have made it, but, you know, it's there's a lot more opportunities for talented kids to be seen, and I appreciate that in today's society, whereas, you know, some people are like, oh my God, this guy, he's a TikTok star, you know, I can't stand whatever. But you have to understand that, you know, yeah, maybe that kid was like me in a trailer and didn't get the opportunity to meet the right person at the right time and for things to happen the way they did. They put their music out there and somebody said, hey, there's something to this, you know, and there's just a lot more opportunities to have your talents and your abilities seen by multitudes of people. We had a website, I think. Hey, guys, we got to update our website. Just in case anybody wants to know what NSYNC's doing. Yeah, it's www.
And another question right here.
I'll keep talking if you don't shut me up.
Hi, Chris. My name's Carrie. NSYNC was the first concert I ever went to.
Where at?
You were in Pittsburgh with Jordan Knight opened for you, I believe.
Oh, at the amphitheater?
Yeah.
Starlight?
Yep. It was my first concert ever, and as
I just know Pittsburgh, and I knew Jordan was on the amphitheaters. I'm not that smart. Ask me anything else, no clue. Sorry.
And I grew up with posters of you guys all over my walls and all of that stuff. And, you know, BSB just did it. And I was going to ask a question about Big Brother because I'm a huge fan, but she covered it. So I just wanted to know, what are the chances of us possibly, I'm 30-some years old, in my lifetime seeing you guys do a world tour so we can all see you one last time together?
What guys? It's just me. My invisible friends.
I meant NSYNC, but
yeah,
you,
I know.
Listen, you were actually one of my favorites.
Sorry about that.
You were.
It only gets better from life. Only gets better from here.
I always like the guys in the back that aren't like the center of attention. I'm always
it's the nicest backhanded compliment I think I've ever gotten in my life.
There you go.
I like the guys that nobody likes. There you go. I like the weirdos, the ones that, right? What was that movie? He's like, give me the haircut that says I'm a lonely middle-aged man that hates his job, hates his wife, hates his family, and the guy's in the barber chair. He goes, right here, buddy. There you go. Sorry about that. No, I'm not. Sorry that. Yeah. Yeah, there's, you know, I don't know. No, we've been offered 4 out of 5 or a couple, and I put this band together, and it's, to quote O-Town, it's all or nothing at all. I just sang that last night, that's why. No, there's, I mean, I love the guys, and, you know, there's no part of me that would do it without the 4 of them. You know, I don't think. I mean, who knows? Maybe something would come down the road and it's like, hey, you and JC are going on to do this or whatever. I'd be like, Is it a Meow Mix commercial? Because if it is... Well, I just saw it recently, and I love it, right, Meow? I'm sorry, did you say meow? Yeah. No, I mean, I would never say never, but...
Okay.
Well, that kind of counts as all 5 of us, too, right? It could be anything. We could do a Toronto residency. Who knows? It's, you know, I mean, again, I'd never say never, but never. No.
How many questions do we have there? 2 or 3?
We have one, and then one that an audience member who's
Okay,
kind of shy
perfect,
gave
perfect.
me. So 2 questions.
And Chris, you're headed back to your table after this for signing, or you have a photo op? Everybody says photo op, so...
All right, then the people have spoken.
Yes, but he's got to be at his table signing. Make sure and hang out with him, too.
Got
but the
voted
photo
out.
op. Yes, get that all.
Hi, my name is Hannah. I was wondering, how long did it take you to get used to fame?
Get used to it. I'm still not used to it. It's still, like I said, I think my son is more used to it than me because he was kind of born into it, and he's like, this happens to everybody. I'm like, dude, no, it doesn't. This is weird. Like every day I wake up, I'm like, what the heck? It's still going? This is the longest dream I've had in a long time. But again, what I thought fame was and what I looked at as being something like that was different kind of than what it is. You know, it's really just every time I see that $1 billion lottery or whatever, and my wife goes, "Oh my God, I played the lottery," and I was like, "Why? We already won it." You know, it's like I got lucky to get to do what I got to do. You know, I get to make music, I get to tour, I get to travel. Well, on this tour, a couple states or the country, but you know, more importantly, it's something that just is so unreal. It's just so like not believable. I have a friend that's multi-millionaire. He's like, "Oh yeah, I drive a Bentley," and I'm like, "Cool, I drive a Dodge truck." You know, I love my truck, and we'll go out somewhere, and I'm gonna buy a table. I'm gonna buy this. I'm gonna do this. We're sitting there in the club, and somebody comes up, "Hey, are you Chris? Would you take a picture?" And I'm like, "Yeah, of course." And I walk away. I'm like, "Buy that," you know, because you can't. It's something that we were so lucky to get and so lucky to have, and I got to do it with 4 of my best friends. So it's not like it was like, oh, I can't stand it. Although some of them get on my nerves a lot. I won't mention Joey's name like right out, but you know, we're brothers. We fight like brothers, but they're my best friends, and I've gotten to travel the world with them, and you know, see them at their best times, at their worst times, and you can't put a price on it. So I never get used to that. I never get used to, you know, being that guy. I never get used to seeing Joey on this show or Lance's podcast or what he's doing, or JC on the Meow Mix, or Justin. Why do you laugh when I say that? It's what he just did. Is that funny? I think it was tastefully done. Why are you guys laughing? That's not the funny. That's not the comedy part of my show yet. And you know, and of course, seeing Justin doing everything. It's like I look at those guys and I'm like, God, those are my idiot brothers that I'll call up and go, "Hey, JC, nice Meow Mix commercial," you know, or Lance, your podcast sucked yesterday. You should have had this person, you know, and just give them, you know, flack for whatever. But it's something that just doesn't seem real. It's like I got really lucky.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Got time for one more right over there?
All right.
Final question.
This is from an audience member who's a little shy, but she wanted to know how Kirkpatrick is a bit of an Irish name. Do you have any Hispanic heritage?
It's actually Scottish.
Scottish, okay.
Yeah.
My apologies.
I think Patrick is, I don't know. My grandpa lied to me all the time, so it was like, I think at one point I don't remember. I was like Native American something or other. I'm like, everybody's Native American. And then you ask him, oh yeah, Cherokee. He didn't say that, but probably like Pennsylvania Iroquois or something. Exactly. But it's like you said do I have any Spanish in me?
Yeah, Hispanic heritage.
Oh, Hispanic. Is that one of those questions where you're like, do you have any Hispanic in you? Do you want some?
Boom. Thank you very much.
And that's why she's being coy and like
Yep.
quiet.
It's not my question.
It's like, shh, I don't know, but here's a, yeah, never mind.
Never mind.
I don't know. I'm a mutt. I mean, I'm sure my grandfather was in a band up near Clarion, and he, looked a lot like Ricky Ricardo. But, I haven't done the, what is it? The generation, 23andMe. 23andMe, weird name for a thing. But I haven't. It sounded more like a movie I watched. It was not rated R. No, I'm just kidding. Kind of. But there was I'm sure there's probably something in there. That's something in there. I'm talking about myself. Something in there. That's maybe. I'll do the 23andMe and come back and answer all your questions.
I got one final question. So you're doing a lot of Comic-Cons, or is this one of your first ones? And what's your experience been like with it?
So I started doing these when. How does this work? Can I say it? I know there's I know there's like a weird strike or something that I'm not supposed to talk about.
Okay. Well,
let's just say I did a movie.
Thank you.
And can I do that?
Yeah.
I put it in air quotes. My son does that and he goes, why do I do this? And I'm like, I don't know, you're 5 years old. Makes no sense. He goes, but everybody does it. After we did the movie, there was some buzz, like they're like, oh, we should do this Comic-Con. So a couple of us from the movie did the Comic-Con, and I mean, I had a blast and everybody had a blast. So I've done probably a dozen, maybe dozen of them, and they've all been fun. And then there's like they do a pop con too, where they just bring in pop people. And I think the cons are slowly changing into, not just where it used to be, just sci-fi movies or sci-fi TV shows or things. Then they start bringing normal TV shows and normal movies, and then they start bringing in pop culture people, and now we're just part of that pop culture wave.
We'd like to thank you for doing this one right around your hometown.
That's right.
Thank you so much for coming out and do this. Photo ops, signatures the whole week long. Give it up. Come on, standing O.
Thank you guys for coming out.
Chris Kirkpatrick, you can do better than that.
I love Ohio.
Hometown guy.
Love
Let's
Ohio,
go.
By the way. Go Bulldogs.
So, what are we going to do tonight, Brain?
Same thing we do every night, Pinky. Watch fandom spotlight videos and then take over the world.
Hey, God, that's great. And maybe we should tell them all to have fun?
And follow their fandom. Then bow before my genius.